It's been compared to the Big Bang, only in reverse. A process called plasma gasification turns trash to gas, generating 3 times the heat of the sun and vaporising anything from a used nappy to a cell phone within seconds. With climate change all over the news and concerns about methane and other byproducts from dumping rubbish in the landfill, the waste disposal applications for these plasmatrons are obvious. And what's more, you can generate power with the gases that get given off. This helps to cover the multi-million-dollar cost of these machines. Michael Behar has just got back from a trip to see a plasma converter in Connecticut.
Well, the big idea is really just figuring out how to extract energy from the waste that we throw out every day. And right now, most of the world either burns it in an incinerator, which actually consumes energy, or buries it in the landfill, which also in many ways consumes energy. So the big idea is, hey, we're throwing away all this garbage, and actually you can get energy from it.
But plasma converter or plasma gasification sounds like a pretty complex process. What's going on here? How is this happening?
Well, let me make it one really easy analogy is to think of neon lights, okay? And basically what a plasma gas is it's an electrically charged gas, which is just like neon. Neon is a gas that when you put a charge through it, it lights up. Well, plasma gas not only lights up, it gets really, really, really hot as the sun. And so by doing that, it can actually break apart the molecular bonds of pretty much anything on Earth.
So it could render a cell phone or a block of metal and turn it into a gas?
Absolutely anything, because everything is made up from, you remember that chart from chemistry class, the elements of the universe. I mean, everything is made up of those same elements, and so it just breaks everything down back into those constituent components.
So trash is ended up as gas? I mean, is that simply what's happening? Obviously, there's some byproducts there as well.
There's some byproducts, but ultimately the biggest byproduct is something called a syngas, and it's just sort of a fancy way of saying it's a gas with a bunch of different gases in it. It's got methane, which we call natural gas. It has carbon monoxide. It has hydrogen. And obviously the ones that we're after are the ones that you can actually burn to use for energy.
So that's the energy generation side of the process.
Right. So out the back end, let's say you're getting this syngas. Well, you can feed this syngas right into a generator that then burns it and generates electricity.
And have you actually seen this in practice? I mean, does this technology work?
It definitely works. I went up to Connecticut to the lab, or where they do all the demonstrations for StarTech, and they have a machine up there that is a 5-ton machine, which isn't huge. It will go through 5 tons of garbage a day, which sounds like a lot, but a big city obviously goes through hundreds of tons. And it's pretty amazing. I mean, he was throwing whole cell phones into the thing, old bottles of prescription drugs. I mean, he was trying to mix it up to show me the variety of different things you can put in here. I mean, shotgun shells, anything.
And how long did a cell phone take to vaporize?
Well, everything takes about the same amount of time. It's a few seconds. They have a little camera that you can actually watch inside the vessel and see what happens when the garbage drops inside. And really, you don't really see anything burning up at all. It just sort of vanishes. It's kind of bizarre. So you see some dust particles moving around, and then it's all gone. And then you just sort of see this orange glow, and that's basically the gas that's left.
And so this is being pitched as a solution to basically the global waste problem. I mean, we're throwing away more than we ever have. Landfills are filling up. Incinerators are being banned because of the nasty byproducts of burning things. This is very much being pitched as a solution to the future of the rubbish problem.
Right. And you really hit the nail on the head is that those things you mentioned, like landfills being banned, are what makes this technology actually viable now. It's not a new technology. In fact, plasma gasification torches have been used for cutting metal in the automotive industry for years. But when you put all the components together, initially the system wasn't economically viable. But all of a sudden now you're closing landfills and you say like have to truck your garbage 300 miles, 4 states away is what they have to do in New York. Well, that costs a ton of money, a lot more money than it did many years ago when the landfill was only across the river. And so now all of a sudden this technology is economically viable and makes sense, where maybe 20 years ago you could have built the same machine with similar technology, but it would have been a big waste of money.
So is anyone actually using this at the moment on a big industrial scale?
The biggest one I know of, well, there's a very large one being used in Japan, and then there's another one that's actually being built right now in Florida, and it's, I believe, going to be a 25-ton-a-day machine, and not only is it going to consume all the garbage for this county in Florida, which is one of the most populated counties in all of Florida, but it's actually they're going to start pulling the garbage out of a 20-year-old landfill and burning that too. So in 20 years, the landfill will be gone.
And surely there's got to be a downside. I mean, it sounds quite magical so far. We've got this sort of big bang in reverse. We're taking something and making it into nothing. But we've got this syngas, or this gas that's emitted. What else is coming out of the process?
As far as waste, there's not really a downside. An obsidian-like glassy material, it sort of comes out oozing like molten lava, and then it hardens up like glass. It's inert. You can use it in asphalt. You can use it to make tiles for your bathroom. The real drawback is the cost. A new machine like the one they're using in Florida is $500 million or more. And a county just doesn't have that kind of money, and no one else is really going to pay for it. And so they're sort of stuck in their old system of just dumping stuff into landfill, because on a month-to-month basis, that seems cheaper for them. If they had 30 or 40-year foresight, obviously it wouldn't be cheaper. But unfortunately, I don't think as humans we have that right now.
Well, and the other factor is that the waste industry is a fairly powerful lobby. I mean, I know a couple of years ago in Chicago, the mayor was, my memory serves me, was brought down as a result of sort of insider trading, and the waste industry is a powerful voice.
That's exactly right. And the other issue is that these landfill operators, one of the guys I met when I went up in Connecticut gave me an example of this, that something they're dealing with is right now New York is shipping a lot of its garbage all the way to Ohio. And some of these communities that have landfills are very rural and very poor. And they're getting, $1 a pound or a couple dollars they're getting millions of dollars a year for this garbage. And all of a sudden you're going to tell them, sorry, that's it, we're not shipping it to you anymore. So they are a powerful lobby as well, because they want to see that garbage keep coming to their landfill in the middle of nowhere, because it's just bringing them cash and it costs them nothing.
Do you think this technology will scale up? I mean, it's for a city like New York or London or any of the big capitals, Auckland. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of tons or thousands of tons of waste on a daily basis. How are they going to deal with that sort of scale?
Well, you can scale these things up as big as you want, but an ideal size is around a 25-ton-a-day converter, and even that is not as big as you might think. It would take up maybe a large warehouse. And so how hard, it wouldn't be that hard to put 7 or 8 of these right in Manhattan. You'd never know they were there, because the garbage comes in and then you get the gas out, and the gas could be, heating buildings or being put in tanks and being sold as a fuel, or generating electricity right on the spot and gone right back into the grid. So it's not like you have all this waste coming out of it.
Apart from the cost, Michael, I mean, you sound pretty sold on this. I mean, you're giving this the thumbs up. This sounds like it's pretty hot technology.
Well, it's one of those things where until it really gets integrated into the way we get rid of our garbage, it's sort of hard to believe it will work. It's sort of like the hydrogen car. If we wanted to spend enough money, if we took all the money that it cost to fight the war in Iraq, we could have all been driving hydrogen cars. It's not. It really is just a matter of money in a way. It's not a matter of technology.
And there's enough there's enough interest out there today, do you think, to actually pull this technology into the mainstream?
I think a lot of people in a lot of counties in the U.S. are waiting to see what happened. It's in Florida, in St. Lucie County, Florida. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the whole United States. So it's a big effort for them. And in fact, I just got an email yesterday from someone. I think it was one of the media people related to the city council, and they sort of signed the last signature they needed to seal the deal to start building this gasification plant in Florida. And interestingly enough, the company that's building it is footing the bill. The county isn't paying anything because the company that's building it is going to sell the electricity, and they'll break even in 10 or 20 years.
And this again comes back to the fact that the byproduct, you get this gas that you can then burn, create energy. So they're funding the technology knowing that they're going to ride on the back of this energy output.
Right. They're going to build a generator plant right there and burn the gas right on the spot, create electricity, and sell it back to the utility grid. But you could also capture the gas. You can also refine it. You can create get hydrogen gas from it, which we all know has future uses. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can extract methane from the gas. You can actually get ethanol out of the gas, believe it or not.
Michael Behar, who's based in Boulder, Colorado.